Grand rising, everyone. What a beautiful day it is that the good Lord has made. We are here. Got it. Just us to see another. Do it. Why do it? Ain't he gonna do it? Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm. Take a look at our disclaimer. Lock it in. Take a screenshot of it. Let you know we're not financial advisors. We're not offering financial advice neither. Just here letting you know what we do, letting you see us do this daily. I've been telling people, full-time trader, nice trade. So can you if you put your mind to it. Sometimes seeing is believing. I say people don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they see you doing. What's that for kids? Either way, it's all good. It's all gravy, baby, especially if you got some biscuits to sop it up with. We're gonna jump over here and check out this market. Just want to say yesterday was a good day. We, again, got in our T's and our P's. I think we had 2 trades that we were taking. We got a Facebook trade yesterday as well. I'm gonna jump in and take a look at all of that. We got the word. Got the word up here. Philippians 3:14. All right. I'm gonna jump all the way into that word this morning, so you can have an understanding of what's going on around here. Philippians 3:14. I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Y'all ain't ready? Y'all ain't ready? So I'm gonna jump on over here to check out the news and see what the news has to offer this morning. 7:30-ish, red folders smack went around for USD. There's a red folder 7:30 there, USD. Green folders up until 12 o'clock. We got some orange for Euro and USD. Will be coming a little later. All right. Let's jump in here and take a look. CAD had a snapback. Look at this. Nothing but news. Snap right back. Yesterday we had Euro CAD and NZD JPY. It was our entry. Did we ever get a TP is the question. Doesn't look like. Yesterday is the 12th, 13th. And it looks like the 13th, there was no action for our TP. Halfway there, and zoop. Halfway there again, and zoop. Now on the 13th, we are sitting here, still holding tight. And we're about salamander salads away from just the entry. There's 85 pips Still holding on. I haven't tapped out quite yet, but I'm on my way. But I'm thinking that this thing may still turn around. Here we go over here. Excuse me, with the CAD. Euro to the Lero to the dinero. And the TP was taken out. Swoobity scoop, scoop, and boop. Right here. All right. So let's look around here and see what's happening. Kind of mild. Kind of mild, kind of mild, kind of mild. Start down here with GA. This may be a pretty good sale right here. Missed this one. We could have got the same buy again. Looks like a lot of pips. Yeah. A lot of resistance right here. A lot of resistance right here. Want to see if it wants to come back down to here. GBP, JPY. I'm gonna do a buy stop right here. My entry is going to be 191.819. 191.819. TP is going to be 191.919. 191.919. Looking at GBP CAD. Just looking around at the CADster. Just kind of watching it and seeing what it's doing. No rush, no hurry. Just want to see. Got Big Jeff in the house. You can tell, can't you? See all the love? Got the love jumping off. Yep, 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 yep. Think I want to check on Auntie Annie this morning and see what she has going on while we're looking for something different to jump into. Listen to listen to Annie.
Season 1, Episode 2 of Black History Moments. This episode is the story of Annie Turnbow Malone. Now, Annie Turnbow Malone may actually have been the first Black woman to become a self-made millionaire here in the United States, despite the narrative that Madam C.J. Walker was the first Black woman to become a self-made millionaire. So I hope that you all will stay tuned to this episode to learn her story and everything that encompasses her. And I hope that you all will subscribe and also share this podcast with your family, with your friends. And by the way, my name is Shakira, and thank you for joining me of another week of Black History Moments. Now, what initially caused me to be drawn to Annie Turnbow Malone's story was when I was doing a Black History Moments series on my Instagram page during Black History Month. And she was one of the people that I came across her story. I had never heard of her before February of 2020. So she was still very new to me. And I read her story and it just really caught me off guard how much she has been erased from history and how much we don't talk about her. Even when we talk about Madam C.J. Walker, we talk about a lot of her accomplishments and the things that she did without acknowledging Annie's place in Madam C.J. Walker's success. So that was initially what drew me to her story. And then, not too long after that, Netflix released the miniseries, which was a documentation of Madam C.J. Walker's life. Now, to be fair, the series was a limited series that was a dramatization. So it was not based on all facts. It was sensationalized a lot. But I still enjoyed it nonetheless. So I figured that it would be great if I discussed Annie's story more in depth here on the podcast to give you.
All right, before we get into Annie, let me go ahead and drop this in. It's best to have the entry before your TP. I mean, you could, if you want to, try it that way and let me know how that works out for you. But we're going to do our TP before our entry. I'm going to go in with Euro CAD, Euro CAD, Euro. I'm going to do a sell stop. My entry is going to be 1.5566. Somebody already complaining. It's too many sixes. It's only two. It's not three. And then two, that's 1.55662. And then the TP is going to be 1.5555. 4 5s and then a number 4. Y'all like that? That's a smooth comment. That's smooth there. 4 5s and then a 4. 1.55554. All right. Daddy got a message. All right, let's see if we can. Yep. Let's get back into Annie, see what's going on.
Her real story and to also
Thank
kind
y'all for the
of
thumbs up.
clear
Appreciate
up
those
her
that have
name and
liked
her image
the
that
channel.
many people
Appreciate it.
may have associated with her due to the miniseries, even though that's not how she was. So that is why we're going to talk about her today. I'm going to give you her story and tell you just how much of a boss she was despite the caricature that was displayed in Netflix's self-made series on Madam C.J. Walker. All right, so let's hop right into Annie's story. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Annie was born in 1869 to two former slaves. Her parents' names were Roger and Isabella Turnbow. So again, her name is Annie Turnbow Malone. Malone due to the marriage that she had a little bit later, but we will get to that. Annie had a super duper large family. She was the 10th of 11 children. So can you imagine that? Like, I can't even imagine growing up with that many siblings. But she was almost the baby of her family, but not quite. She was the second to last, the 10th child that was born. And again, her parents were former slaves. So tragically, when Annie was just a toddler, both of her parents fell ill and they died very close to each other. the time frame was very close to each other. So she was young, didn't really know her parents, growing up. Her sisters took care of her. So after her parents died, her sisters took on that responsibility of raising her, and I'm assuming the youngest sibling after her, just taking care of them as you would, if something like that tragic were to happen to you. And one sister in particular was Ada or Ada Moody. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but it is spelled Ada Moody. That was her sister, her older sister, that took care of her when she moved to Peoria, Illinois. Excuse me if I am butchering the pronunciation. So while Annie is growing up, she loves playing in her sister's hair. Like, I remember being a child, back then we had like doll heads that you can play with, but I also remember like playing in my mother's hair or anyone else's hair that I could get in at the time. So she had all of these sisters and she really enjoyed playing with their hair growing up as a young girl. So when she is in high school, Annie starts to get sick, like sick to the point that she misses a whole lot of school. She ends up having to drop out of high school. And that is one of the inconsistencies that was within the Netflix limited series, because there was a line, granted, I watched these episodes weeks ago, so I can't remember specifically what the line was, but I remember in particular there was a line that in the series, her name is Addie, but her name was Annie, where she said something about being like college educated or something like that. But the real Annie Turnbull Malone was actually a high school dropout because she was ill and she was not able to go to school as often as her counterparts. So even though she was not, a high school graduate, she was a high school dropout, she still felt a love for chemistry, science. She loved science. And she would work with one of her aunts who was an herbalist, and she taught her a lot about different chemicals, different things that she could mix together, natural ingredients right in the kitchen, right in the comfort of her own home. Annie took advantage of everything that she was learning from people when it came to these different ingredients and chemistry and everything that she was learning on her own. She took advantage of the world's natural resources and she started creating hair products. Now, keep in mind, this is the early 1900s. They don't have Shea Moisture, they don't have Cantu, they don't have Carol's Daughter, they don't have Cream of Nature. They have what they are working with at the time. So at this time, Black women were using butter, they were using bacon grease. Yes, bacon grease. They were using heavy oils to straighten their hair because at this time, remember, to look socially acceptable, or if you wanted to seem elite, or even to just get a job, you had to straighten your hair or make your hair, I'm using air quotes, look acceptable or socially acceptable at this time. So women were using these damaging products. Oh my gosh, bacon grease, I can't even imagine. But they were using these products to straighten their hair. But these products were damaging their hair at the same time. So Annie is like, hey, I have a genius idea. Let me create something. I already love chemistry. I already love experimenting with these different things, and I love hair. So let me find a great mixture of products that will help straighten our hair without damaging it or causing harm to our scalp. And that is what she came up with her Miracle Hair Grower, which was one of her very first products. All right, great. So she has this product. I'm sure at this time she is testing it on herself, testing it on her sisters, and anyone else that she could get her hands on at the time. And she's noticing that it is making a difference in Black women's hair. And being the future budding entrepreneur businesswoman that she is, she decides that it's not smart to stay where she is with this product. There's something bigger here. There is a larger market for what she has to sell. So in 1902, she moves to St. Louis, Missouri, because there they had a growing population of black people, working class black people. So she's like, okay, St. Louis, Missouri sounds good. Now, what also aided into her deciding to move to St. Louis was the fact that in 1904 they were going to have the World's Fair. So the World's Fair was just this like basically an open kind of storefront. I think of it kind of like a flea market present day, but like a open kind of area with a lot of vendors, a lot of businesses, and a lot of customers that will be walking through. You have access to so many people. So it was a smart business move on her behalf. And she decided to go 2 years prior so she can kind of get her footing, get used to the people in the area, that kind of thing. So she gets there and she has 2 assistants at the time, and her assistants will go door to door. They will offer demonstrations to the women of the homes that they were knocking on and tell them about this product that she has and how this product would be better than what they were using currently. And she will also be selling not only her hair grower, but she will be selling straightening combs. Now, I do want to clarify this because there are a lot of people that don't know this. I didn't know this until 2 months ago, but it is a common misconception that the straightening comb, the hot comb, was patented by Madam C.J. Walker, but that is, however, incorrect, and it wasn't patented by Annie Turnbull Malone either. It was actually patented years prior by a Frenchman to help Caucasian women achieve these like sleek bobs with their hair. They called them Cleopatra style bobs at the time. So they were just like early adapters, I guess, of the straightening comb, but they didn't actually come up with the straightening comb. So she will be knocking door to door, selling these straightening combs, selling her hair products, and just really getting her business off the ground. It was awesome. It was awesome. At the same time, she meets Sarah Walker. So Sarah Walker, remember, is Madam C.J. Walker's name before she adapted the Madam C.J. Walker persona after getting married to her second husband. So unlike the limited series where Madam C.J. Walker was doing her laundry and she like begs her to sell her hair products, that's actually untrue. Madam C.J. Walker was one of Annie Malone's first employees with selling the products, and she found, it's not clear how they met each other, but I've seen a few stories that have said that Madam C.J. Walker found Annie Malone after hearing about her products, and it is true that Madam C.J. Walker was having issues with her hair. She was having issues with growing her hair. She was having scalp problems. So she started using Annie's product and it helped her out a lot. And she was just like, okay, girl, well, you can help me sell these products too. So she was actually one of her very first employees, unlike the limited series made us believe. So 1904 rolls around. Again, this is the World Fair time, and it's a hit. Her products are a hit, and around the same time, her and Madam C.J. Walker have a falling out. It's not clear why they fell out. They don't know if it was a dispute, a confrontation, just a regular you go your way, I go mine kind of deal, but they fell out around the same time. At this time, Madam C.J. Walker moves to Denver. Keep that in mind. Annie is still in St. Louis, Missouri. So she's in St. Louis, business is taking off, and after the positive response that she had gotten from the World Trade, the World's Fair, I don't know where I'm going with World Trade, but the World's Fair, she trademarks this Poro company, which was, or soon was to become, Poro College. But before we get to the story of the Poro College or Poro Beauty School, let's just put a pin in this really quickly. So Madam C.J. Walker moves and she starts selling her own hair products. And it is without question that Madam C.J. Walker modeled these hair products after Annie Turnbull Malone's hair products. It's crazy, but one of Annie's first products, remember, was what she named the Wonderful Hair Grower. Madam C.J. Walker moves and names one of her products the Wonderful Hair Grower. So you can see where there could have been some confusion there. If people were familiar with Annie's products, they could have mistaken Madam C.J. Walker's products to be Annie's because they had the same name. Annie was furious. I'm not gonna lie, she was furious at the time, as anyone would be when you have put your hard time and money into something, and your time, your effort. Like, this is your baby, your craft. When you've put your all into something like that, and then you see that someone else is doing the same thing and calling it by the same name, it just made it that much worse. So Annie is furious, and she actually takes out a newspaper ad. And the newspaper ad was for the Colorado Statesman at the time, and she warned readers to, quote, beware of imitations, because she was referring to Madam C.J. Walker's products that were not her products. And that's kind of the extent of the beef between Annie Turnbull Malone and Madam C.J. Walker. It kind of went, through newspaper ads, not as deep as the limited series made it out to be. But yeah, now I don't want to make this about Madam C.J. Walker because I want this to be about Annie Turnbull Malone and her story. So in 1906, Annie, she trademarks her company's name, which is Poro, that is Poro. Not sure whether Poro was a reference to a West African organization that was devoted to disciplining and enhancing the body, because Annie was deep into really taking care of your inside, and your inside being a reflection of your outside, because one of her slogans dealt with the fact that when you have a clean body inside, your scalp will be clean. You will have healthier hair. But Poro could have also been a nod to her name. It could have been a combination of her surname from her first marriage, which was Pope, and her sister's name, which was Roberts. So it could have been, a combination of the two. Not sure where the name Poro came from, but that's what it was at the time. So she not copyrights it. She trademarks the company name, and in 1918 she establishes the Poro Beauty School. Now,
Just want to let you know, keep your eyes and ears open. The wife dropped about 70 pips over there in the chat. 70 pips in the group. Go over there and check them out. All right.
y'all, this is big. This is huge, because at this time in 1918, the Poro Beauty School was the first cosmetology school that specialized in black hair. It was huge. It was big. Now, she had 175 employees, and she used this beauty school to launch many careers of the women and people that came through those doors. So one thing that is important to remember is that at this time in St. Louis, women were barred from working jobs. Like, women had to work domestic jobs, and Annie basically placed it upon herself to say, not on my watch, we're not going for that. She helped launch the career of so many women, whether they went on to just do hair, whether they went on to create and sell their own products, whether they went on to open their own salons and personal businesses. Annie helped to catapult those women's careers. And as I'm sure you can gather from what I've already shared with you, Annie was definitely socially conscious. She wanted to help uplift Black people and the Black race. So the Poro College was located smack dab in the middle of the predominantly Black neighborhood at the time, and it was located in the neighborhood called the Ville. They called it the Ville. And for them, it was more than just a beauty school. It was more than just a cosmetology school. They called it, quotes, a center of community activity. They not only had like these beauty driven, cosmetology driven kind of things there, but they also had social events there. They also met for social activism there. The school was huge, and at the time, the complex, it cost about $500,000. $500,000 to build. Now, I don't know about you, but $500,000 is still a lot to me today. So can you imagine her spending $500,000 back in the early 1900s to create this complex, to build this school? It's amazing. It's amazing. So the school had classrooms. It had a factory that produced her products, her hair care products. It had sewing rooms. It had barber shops. It had dining halls. It had a gymnasium, a bakery, a chapel. They had a garden on the rooftop. They had a rooftop garden. They had a 500-seat auditorium. So this complex was huge, and you can just imagine how many lives this complex touched.
Imagine making 450.
It's crazy. And they refer to it as a family, the Poirot family. And I can only imagine at the time, with all of the social activities, all of the classes and things that they had going on at the Poirot College, just how important it was to community activism and outreach at the time. I can only imagine. So 1927 rolls around and a tornado comes sweeping through St. Louis, and it devastates the area. Devastates it. Now, Poirot College stepped in. They became a rescue center that sheltered people. They fed over 5,000 people in need. They clothed them. They took care of them during this time of tragedy. And Poirot College's ideals of, quote, beauty, personal beauty and tidiness, self-respect, thrift, and industry is spread to other cities in the United States. Other ones. It's crazy. They had over 32 schools throughout the United States and had over 75,000 women who were agents around not only the United States but the world. They had women in South America, in Africa, in the Philippines who were all agents of the Poirot College, helping to spread awareness of Annie's products and just her ideals of how she felt women, not only women but Black people, could lift each other up during this time. So in 1930, she relocated to Chicago, but she relocated because here we go, we're going to talk about this husband for a little bit. So remember I told you that she married a man. His name was Aaron E. Malone. He was a principal at a St. Louis school, and they married in 1914. Well, 1927 comes. At this time, Malone is sitting on a multi-billion-dollar industry, okay? So she has money. And now it's time for a divorce. I'm not sure what the cause for the divorce was, but I did find that he is the one who filed for the divorce. And at this time, Annie is a figure in the community. Like, with Black and white people, she is a pivotal figure. So it was a very high profile dispute that they were having with this divorce. He was demanding half of everything she owned, half of the business, everything. He felt like he deserved to have half of it. He ended up not getting half. He ended up having $200,000 paid to him by Annie, and that is why she relocated to Chicago in 1930, because she just felt like it was time for a fresh start, just to get away from, everything that was happening with the divorce and things like that. She was like, okay, it's time to go. It's time for new territory. So she moves, and that may have been a bad move for Annie. But here's what happened. In 1929, the stock market crashed, and her company suffered from not only the stock market crashing, but a series of lawsuits. In addition to the divorce, Annie also had a disgruntled past agent who worked for her who also sued her. I'm not sure what the discussion was, like why that person was suing her, but they did, and she ended up having to pay them, and it was just a series of lawsuits and battles, and she ended up losing a whole lot of money, but she still remained in business, which was amazing. Like, just hearing about how much money she was losing at the time and how she still remained in business was admirable. So it's said that at the time, Annie was worth over $14 million. This was back in the 1920s, y'all. She was worth over $14 million. Now, adjusted to 2020, she would have been worth $259 million. However, one of her descendants said that it may not be true that she was worth that much because of the records. The Poro College didn't keep detailed records on the money that was coming and going in and out of the college, but just looking at pictures of Poro College, I can see, her being worth that much at the time and just how much she was selling and the business ventures that she had going. So, in addition to Poro College and her being an advocate for women and men to start their own businesses, to go out there and branch out on their own, Annie was also one who was really into philanthropy. So she donated to Howard University, she donated to Tuskegee and other HBCUs. She donated to the St. Louis Pine Street YMCA. She donated to the St. Louis Colored Children's Home. And today that children's home has her name. And she just gave out so much of her.
All right, if you're just joining us, we are watching two trades that I caught. One, Euro CAD to the left of your screen, a buy stop, a buy stop. And to the right of your screen, a sell stop on EuroCAD. That's what we are doing. Also in a trade from yesterday, seeing if it was going to pull back and come back up. NZDJPY. All right. So that's where we're at. And we are listening to some Brown history about Anna, who's may have been, according to what this young lady was saying, the first Black millionaire. Very interesting. And a lot of us, heard of Madam C.J. Walker, and we're not was told that she was the first Black millionaire. So it's just kind of finished your story. Almost done with it.
Money. One of her thought processes was that it's better to use the money to help other people than to just hold on to it. And I find that admirable as well, because it's very hard to find people that are not so held up in just holding on to their
Lord,
money,
who is
right?
this? Mr. Wilson?
And who believe in just dishing it
St.
out to those
Marcus.
that need it the most and
St.
believing that it will
Marcus.
come back. And I truly do believe that. So I look up to her. And she also, there's a rumor, word on the street is that Annie, in addition to her doing philanthropy at these different schools, institutions, these group homes, the YMCA, she was also very, very nice to her employees. So word on the street is that she gave diamond rings to her agents who had been at her company for over 5 years. And she also rewarded people that worked at her agency in the Poro College when they saved their money. So she would give them money for showing her that they were saving their money. Like, can you imagine someone giving you money for saving your own money? Like, that is wild to me. But after all of this stuff started happening, after the stock market crashed, after the divorce, after these hefty lawsuits, she kind of went down a little bit, but she still, had the Poro College. And in 1943, she owed the government $100,000 for unpaid real estate and some taxes. This was according to an article by the University of Illinois. And in 1951, the government seized Poro. So they took Poro away from her. And it kind of went downhill there, but she lived a very long life. She lived to the age of 87. And although we don't give her enough credit, we don't talk about her enough, we always talk about Madam C.J. Walker. Annie Turnbull Malone was a very pivotal figure in the community, not only in St. Louis, Missouri back then, but she is key to a lot of things now with our hair, with black hair care, with cosmetology schools, being that she created the first cosmetology school that was dedicated to black hair care. So even just thinking about the black cosmetology schools now, Annie is the reason those schools exist. She is the first person to make one, to create one, to have doors open for people within the community and just encourage them to want more and do more for themselves, for their family, and for the community at large. And I salute her because that is amazing. With that being said, thank you for joining me for another week in Black History Moments. I hope that you learned something new. And I also hope that you will share this podcast, not only this podcast, but this podcast episode with your family, friends, on your Instagram story, however you see fit. You can follow us on Instagram at Black History Moments or on Twitter at Black History Pod. And remember that you too are Black History. Bye, guys. See you next week.
All right. You too are Black History. I've already shared that and dropped that in the link in the chat. I'm sorry, I dropped that link in the chat. I'm pretty impressed. I mean, I think you need to go and take a look at it and see for yourself what you think. This business that she built was beautiful, big. I mean, crazy, crazy. We are in on GBPJPY, and Jeff wants us to check out EJ. So we're going to go over here and check out EJ. See what EJ has going on. Okay. So, well, my thoughts on EJ, I guess it would be, what do you know, want me to look at, like what I think it's going to do, or what type of move would that make, Jeff? Is that what? Let me know what you want to know, Jeff. Just trying to see what I see here, Jeff. I see the nice trending down, Jeff, but let me. I'm thinking just off the rip. I'm thinking about a buy for this one. Thinking about a buy for this one. Think it's looking pretty good. There's some possibilities that you get 25, roughly pips out of this to be on the safe side. Possibility that it could get up that high and reverse, turn around. Just a bunch of possibilities. Possibility it could go higher than that. So you was thinking a thing. Okay. That's different when you're thinking a thing. You know, because the thing could be thinkable. And it's very true. Let me see if I can pull something up for you here. Give me a second, though. I'm gonna look this up on the Easy 80, see what the skatey may be. What? Let me see what you got going on here, Jeff. I hear you. I hear you. Ah, what do we just get? Bells are ringing. Bells are ringing. I don't see anything. Okay, that's the old one. All right. I have a delay in my ear. So jumping on to check you out right now, Jeff. Give me a second. I'm trying to see. I don't know why I thought I saw something from you on Telegram. Hmm, maybe not, Jeff. Thought I saw you over there, man. My bag. My bag. So if I was to show you, Jeff, before I really make a move on that, I would be looking for this section to be, let me go. So higher time frame. Let me see. Okay, that was a 1 minute I was looking at, which is not gonna really do much for me. We got a blue box, I think, forming here, which is what we bounced off of right here. And I think that would be a good buy move. So I can zoom in, see the blue box is forming here. Boom. When the blue box is formed, market shot up. So blue box is forming here. I'll look for the market to shoot up as well. So even on our system, it looks like it's kind of seeing the same thing that I was seeing. It's possible. Yeah. So if that's the thing with the thing, then I think we both thinking the same thing. Yeah. Let me know what you think about YouTube around History Month. That was, if you had never, ever, 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 ever heard of any Turnbow before. Malone, don't forget the Malone. If you have, let me know. It's cool. We are right at that time of the hour, just about before we break out of here. I want to go in on the word Philippians 3:14 says, I press on towards the goal to win the prize, for which God has called me heavenward in Jesus or in Christ Jesus. And this illustration is powerful. It's a black woman, like she could have been caught up in the matrix, right? But she kept pushing this black wall, taking, is what she was pressing, this brick wall. She didn't stop. She burst through the wall to get to the prize because she knew that God was with her, and she kept pressing towards her goal. And you can see how bright it is on the other side and how dark and gloomy it is on this side of the wall that she is standing on, but not letting all of that, not, what she saw or was seeing was not going to determine what her future was going to look like. Know what I mean? Jelly bean? Huh? So for my video game players, just imagine you were playing a video game and you were trying to reach the final level. We've all, played Pac-Man or some type of game, or you trying to reach the final level, but you kept getting knocked down. The key part is that you didn't give up when it gets hard or when it got hard. You didn't give up. You kept trying, kept pressing, you kept pushing. And this verse right here is saying to us, we should keep working hard to reach the goal. Not just the goal, but the goal that God has for us. It's like, focusing on the finish line and not letting anything stop us from getting there. A lot of times I've heard people say, when you start something, start with the end in mind. See your vision, then figure out how you're going to build it. But start with the end in mind. Right? Got to keep pressing. Can't give up. Even in what we're doing now, this may not be going the way you want it to go, but you don't give up. You keep pressing. Right? So it's our word for the day. We have entry, pullback, entry, pullback. No entry here. NZD, JPY from yesterday just still consolidating and playing in the same area. EuroCAD has not entered. GBP, JPY has entered and then dropped back down. So just got a call from Easy 80. Let's take a look at what this is before we get out of here. This may be a good one that I could share in a group with you all. Let's see. This one has potential, ladies and gentlemen. Has potential. All right. Now we're gonna play it safe, keep it cool. Probably drop some more stuff on you all in the chat when we see it. We want you all to have a blessed day. Stay focused. Remember, you can catch a Saturday Trading Compass, 6 p.m. Central. We can help you unlock your future trading. You understand? I'm your host, Coach CHOC, also known as CHOcinHood. My wife is here. Wife in Hood. She doesn't have a nickname. I don't know. Don't know if she wants one or not. But like, share, subscribe. We are not financial advisors. Past profit does not guarantee future results. If you do want to know how we do it, go to our website and register for the Easy 80 trading program at allbarelite.com. You can go there and also follow us on our social media platforms that we are on, and you'll be notified when we do our pop-up pippin show. All right. It's going to be a good day. You know how I know? Because it's already a great day. Y'all have a good one. God bless.